Hey everyone. Okay, congratulations on finishing your Précis, getting through the books that you chose. I'm looking forward to reading them and grading them. Usually, Charlotte grades the Strength to Love papers, and I grade all the other book choices. But I think so far 18 of you have chosen Strength to Love, and so I may be contributing to that one as well. And I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I always enjoy reading your précis, and I also usually learn something new each time as somebody picks up something. So, yeah, um, let's see how to have a successful week number 5. So, we're going to begin to turn the corner a little bit, and we're going to begin some practical application. This week is a little lighter again with reading. So, if you need to catch up with something, this is kind of going to be your last week to do catch up or those kinds of things, or some advanced reading. So, really, all you have is a short article to read. It's the Genesis and Abundant Life article that I wrote while I was working on my PhD for an Old Testament survey class. And it was trying to answer some of the questions that I had myself about Genesis and some of the things that I was thinking about in relationship to what is the redemptive work of Christ like, and do we live in a legal universe or do we live in a relational universe? That was some of the questions that I was trying to answer. And so please don't feel like you have to pander to me and agree with the article in order to get a good grade, because you all know that I just give you full credit if you write something and finish your reading. So it's probably 20 to 25 pages, double spaced. So a short article, and then also there's a lecture on ethics from the margins and some notes on ethics from the margins from that lecture. So, watch the lecture, peruse the notes, look at those. The thing that I want to say that I didn't say necessarily in the lecture before, and as I read all of your blog posts on your readings from ethics from the margins in week 3, is be careful not to get categorized into a specific group. Be careful when we talk about basic convictions and we talk about human nature that we are very careful about how we create in groups and out groups, whether you're on the kind of overside of power and have power, or whether you're on the underside of power and are experiencing the power of others. So the thing that we need to be careful a bit with is how do we talk about human nature in that context. And what we want to do, and one of the reasons that I have you read Ethics from the Margin, is we want to develop a robust theology and a robust Christian ethic that can apply to people who are experiencing injustice, people who are on the underside of power, people like the Israelites who are concerned about their freedom when they're in slavery in Egypt. So we need to be able to develop an ethic that is in some ways what Miguel de la Torre talked about, liberative, right? That the first step may be justice into freedom, but then we also need to develop an ethic to be able to take in the exilic account of Jeremiah. In other words, your host, or the exilic account of the first century, you're being hosted by a country or an empire, but they give you a lot of freedom and they give you some power. And so we want to have a theology and ethic that can move in that as well. And then we also want to have a theology and an ethic that can, when you have power, how do you use it appropriately? And so we want to begin to develop something that is for the oppressed and the oppressor, for those who experience injustice and for those who can bring justice, for those who need to ask for forgiveness and for those who can grant forgiveness, for those who give love and how to receive love. And we need a Christian ethic that goes through all of those situations. And so that's what I'm trying to do as we talk about different kind of approaches, again, to applying scripture to develop a rich and a thick Christian ethic. So I want to be careful about that, because some of you even slipped into language of just kind of two poles, right? The oppressed or the oppressor. And we want to develop an ethic for everybody's range of experience. So what you'll see and what you read is that you can be the oppressed and the oppressor at the same time. You can experience oppression from somewhere, and then you can also, and it usually happens, is give that to somebody else, like transmit some of that oppression to somebody else, because everybody is jockeying for positions of power and prestige. Doesn't matter what level of society that they're in. And so we want to be careful about getting caught into this dichotomy between two groups. And we want to say that, can we weep with those who weep, whatever amount of injustice or suffering that they experience, because this is not a zero-sum game. We all have something. And then can we rejoice with those who rejoice at every level of rejoicing? And can we prophetically speak to people who have power and how to use it at multiple levels? Because again, power is just the effective range of your will. So everybody has some power. And you'll see, for those of you that read Strength to Love by Martin Luther King Jr., he argues that the African Americans should use their power in their response to their injustice in the civil rights movement. And you'll see in Park, when you read Park and he talks about Han, that he will say that everybody has some power and some responsibility to even respond to injustice in a way that would bring glory to Christ. That doesn't mean always submissive to it. It just means that you respond appropriately to it. So I just want to make a couple of those important distinctions as we move forward in the class together. So light reading this week, Genesis and the Abundant Life. You can catch up on any of the readings that you had in the past that maybe you didn't get full credit for, and you can record that. And then watch the lecture and look at the notes. And then I will post some notes towards the end of the week and a short lecture on the Genesis and Abundant Life article. Okay, so have a great week, and look forward to, I'll be locked in and reading your papers all week. So hopefully we'll get those back to you by Friday. Okay, thanks again for all your hard work last week, and blessings on this week for you.